Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Real. It's Slayer Sunday, where I'll be talking about and reviewing all the episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in order. Today I'm going to be looking at Season 3, Episode 18, Earshot. We begin the episode with Buffy running away and tripping, but she's up and kicking, except this demon brought company. After a short kerfuffle, Buffy kills one of them, and the other jogs on. She's left with a glowing hand, and into the credits we go. The next day, Giles admits that he doesn't know what will happen at the Ascension, so Buffy thinks the charade in Enemies was a waste, and her hand is itchy. Wesley comes in trying to out-British Giles, and everyone leaves, where in the hall, Buffy wishes she knew for sure if Angel enjoyed kissing Faith. Willow suggests just asking Angel, and yes, definitely, if you have something on your mind, just ask, you'll feel so much better. Buffy goes to Giles with her itchy hand, and Giles says that the demon can infect people with aspects of themselves, whatever that means. Hopefully not the lack of mouth. That wasn't a good look for LaShawn in Witch. At the school's pep rally, we learn there are enough deaths in Sunnydale High to warrant an obituary section in the school paper, while Buffy freaks out over what demon part she might suddenly grow. Xander tells Oz he's over Cordelia, then flips out when Wesley looks at her.
You're a very complex man, aren't you?
And that night, Buffy is jump scared by Angel. They have a chat about Faith, and Buffy is clearly wigging out, so Angel tells her he loves her, and will love her, no matter what. The next day, whoa, Xander is just covered in Christmas! And I really like Willow's top. Buffy joins them, and Xander wonders if Cordelia's kissed Wesley. Except he didn't say it out loud, and yet Buffy heard him. Walking through the school, Buffy hears the thoughts of everyone around her, and she excitedly tells Giles, who is dubious until...
When I walked in a few minutes ago, you thought, look at her shoes. If a fashion magazine told her to, she'd wear cat strapped to her feet.
Busted. Giles thinks this could really help Buffy as a Slayer, but nope, she uses her new superpower to be a know-it-all in class, and piss off this student Nancy, not to be confused with Wishverse Nancy, who died rather unceremoniously off-screen. Willow points out this dude Freddie, who writes for the school paper, and then the teacher's lecture about Othello hits a bit too close to home when she talks about trust and betrayal. Buffy nearly sunshines Angel in the face when she goes to visit him, and she babbles at him about Faith, but can't read his mind, and Angel catches her at it, explaining that his kind's thoughts can't be read. Wait, how did he know she could read minds? Anyway, he says just to ask him, yes, thank you, and he says that he hated hurting her and kissing Faith meant nothing.
In 243 years, I've loved exactly one person.
Before she goes, Angel tells her to be careful with her new gift. I agree, a hormonal teenager who can read minds is a recipe for disaster. Xander freaks out at the news as she reads everyone's minds, and we learn that Cordelia does indeed just say what she's thinking. Willow thinks Buffy doesn't need her. Oz has deep philosophical thoughts, and Xander can't stop thinking about sex, and runs away. Buffy catches Wesley thinking about Cordelia, and he runs off, and then she hears Willow stressing that Buffy will soon know Oz better than she does, and she runs off.
If you don't need me, I'm gonna follow the redhead.
Wandering through the halls, Buffy struggles hearing everyone's thoughts at once, and Giles comes across another case the same as Buffy's, where the guy isolated himself due to not being able to shut the voices off. So have a ton of fun with that. The cafeteria is not a good place to be, but amongst all the thoughts, Buffy hears someone threaten to kill everyone the following day. And then she passes out. She wakes up outside. Since when is it good practice to drag an unconscious person outside? And Buffy warns them about the killer, with Xander joking it's probably the lunch lady. Unable to go back in the building, Giles tells Buffy to go home while the Scoobies make a list of everyone who was in the cafeteria in the hopes they can track down the killer before tomorrow. At home, Joyce is really jumpy around Buffy, and she soon discovers why.
You had sex with Giles? You had sex with Giles?
Willow divvies up the list of suspects so they can interrogate everyone, and Jonathan is up first.
We all have fantasies where we're powerful and respected.
This conversation the two of them have paves the way for events in an episode in Season 4. And holy shit, they sent Oz to interview literally the tallest person they could find. That's pretty mean. Look how they're having to frame these two. Cordelia straight up asks the teacher if he's planning on killing everyone. Xander gets distracted flirting with some girls. And Oz can't find the newspaper guy. And how have I never noticed this joke before? Oh, hey dude. At home, Buffy still isn't safe because there are too many thoughts nearby, while Giles and Wesley work on a way to cure her, but it requires the heart of the demon who got away. So enter Angel, fangs out and kicking ass. And shout out to whoever played the demon. Fight choreo in those heavy prosthetics can't have been easy. The next day, the grillings continue and we learn that since his admission in phases, Larry has come out and is supportive of Xander, who he thinks is still closeted. Oz still can't get hold of Freddy, and as Joyce watches over Buffy, Angel comes to the door with essence of demon heart in hand. Ooh, glowy! He feeds Buffy the concoction, but she freaks out, and above school, in the clock tower, Jonathan assembles a rifle. Buffy wakes up all better, and Oz bursts in on Freddy, only to discover he's been laying low since he wrote a scathing review about Oz's band. Buffy rocks up, and Cordelia finds a very dark note from Jonathan, so they split up to find him. Buffy spots him in the clock tower, which was added specifically for this episode, so her stunt double flips up there just in time. What follows is a pretty hard to watch scene where Buffy tells Jonathan that nobody really notices him.
Every single person down there is ignoring your pain because they're too busy with their own.
She tells him that everyone, no matter who they are suffering in one way or another, and he gives her the gun, but reveals he would never hurt anyone. Instead, he was planning on killing himself. And sorry to detract from the weight of the scene, but nobody is trying to kill themselves with a rifle. The best he could hope for is shooting himself in the foot, and it's always bugged me. Xander, still looking for Jonathan, wanders into the kitchen and finds the real killer, the lunch lady, just like he predicted, poisoning the food. So he runs out, knocking everyone's dinner to the ground as the cook chases him with a cleaver, until Buffy stops her, and her stunt double is probably the most obvious we've seen due to the size difference. We learn that Jonathan got suspended, and Buffy calls Giles out on his extracurricular activities with Joyce. Alright, we've got quite a bit to discuss, so let's start with the obvious. This episode clearly handles a very difficult topic, which unfortunately is still very relevant today. I'm lucky enough to live in the UK, where guns are a lot less accessible, but sadly there are very real occurrences that happen much more frequently overseas, and I'm very sorry for anyone who has had to experience such tragedy. Know that violence is never the answer, and there's always someone you can talk to, whether they be stranger or friend. Before we move off the subject, Buffy's words to Jonathan are not only poignant, but they also come back in a meaningful way in a couple of episodes' time. The flip side of this episode is how a teenager would treat psychic powers, and it turns out not to be all it's cracked up to be, much like invisibility when it comes up in season 6. I like how Angel handled the situation, and I fully agree. Just asking someone will yield better results than guessing or trying to gain information by other means. But the whole scenario just proves how wrong for each other Buffy and Angel are, because they're in very different headspaces. We get nods to previous episodes, Larry and his gay storyline is a callback to Phases, Willow is still helping Percy like she did in Doppelgangland, Jonathan gets another grilling from Willow like he did in Go Fish, and of course Buffy learns what happened between Giles and Joyce in Ban Candy. On top of that, Xander jokingly guesses the twist of this episode, which will happen again, most notably in season 7. There's a small point worth noting, and that's Wesley not only helping make the potion to cure Buffy, but also being the positive one about it, and being at the house to make sure she's okay. I think it's sweet that Joyce doesn't question the whole mind-reading thing. Instead, she just worries that she could be hurting Buffy with her thoughts. We have 2 more demons for the list. One killed by Buffy and one by Angel. Off screen, but we see both the build-up and the aftermath, which brings our running total to 35 humans, 5 transformations, 45 vampires, 19 demons, and 4 zombies. So there you have it. That was Earshot. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot. Or consider subscribing if you want more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and don't let the vampires bite.